Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons. See, I started up the game and it started with V in the front. You're not the main character, V, you're secondary to best boy, and you're just gonna have to live with that. Anyway, this is Bug Fables. There will be progress in this episode, but I did kind of leave you dangling in the previous one, so let's investifart this first, and then we'll get on with the story, and I've already forgotten the voice I gave you. Yes, these will do, although I can't speak of their quality. You'll battle us then. Already. Thought you'd appreciate the basics. Well, personally, I did study, and it's a good thing I did, because before recording, I went into my personal save file and sort of playtested this to remind myself of how it works. And it's a good thing I did, because while I was doing that, I received a phone call I didn't know whether or not to expect today, which would have interrupted the recording had I not studied. So the lesson here, kids, is study. But for the benefit of my audience, give us the tutorial anyway. Listen closely, rookie. Oh no, leaves. It's a loading screen. So yes, card battle. Listen up, here are the rules for spy cards. There are 4 types of card, basically. There's the regular enemies, the mini-bosses, and the boss-bosses. So, you play using a deck containing 15 cards. Okay, they come in 4 types to be specific. Attacker, effect, mini-boss, and boss. And as you can see, they do things. And I'm just going to cut ahead here well, I'm going to anticipate what's being described. Note the TP icon in the corner of each card. That's how many TP it costs to play that card. And then the thing in the white is what it actually does. So the seedling here has an attack of 1. The numbnail doesn't do any attack damage, but it can inflict numbness, and then, well, you get the idea from there. There are some cards that have bonus effects if played at the same time as another card. So Zasp and Mothiva, for instance, if you play them both in the same round, then you get a little attack buff. That's kind of how it works. So yeah, attack cards are quite basic. They add an amount to your attack counter and are pretty cheap to play. Effect cards can have many different effects. Here's a few key words you can find in your cards. Numb, one of your opponent's attack cards is numbed. If X, if played alongside X card, gain an effect. If attack X, gain an effect if your total attack reaches X amount. Unity, gain attack for every member of its tribe, like a swarm of midges, for example. You can check many more effects in your Discoveries menu if you're playing alongside me in real time. And yeah, you can have as many or as few duplicate cards. You could have a card full of seedlings if you wanted, but there is a rule stipulating that you need at least 1 boss and at least 1 mini-boss, as I recall. Also, you can only have cards of creatures that you have spied or got the spy data for. So, anyway, mini-boss cards. They work like effect cards, but you can only have 2 copies in your deck, so I believe that means a maximum of 2 mini-boss cards, and you cannot have duplicates. And then boss cards, similar, but you can only have 1. Which is fair, balancing. Now, the TP cost. I explained this earlier. You get, whatever the round number is, so, for example, in round 1, you get 1 TP plus, we're kind of going on Kaiser's Orchestra, N for Orgelet or N for May kind of rules here. So you get 1 TP for free plus whatever the round number is. So round 1, you start with 2 TP. 1 for the round number and 1 for free. In round 2, you start with 1 TP and 2 more for it being round 2, so 3 altogether, etc, etc. At the end of each turn, your TP is restored, so go wild with your plays. So, for example, in round 1, if you had this hand, you could play the seedling or the numbnail, but not both. Then in round 2, you start with 3 TP, so you can play the seedling and the numbnail, or Zasp, or the spider. It's easier to do by demonstrating, but some people learn by being told how it works, and that's why I'm including this here. So, we could have... So currently we're building our own deck based on our existing spy data. Do we want Finis' Guardian, which has a base attack of 2, and it gets an extra 3 for every Finis Bud you play on the same turn? Bearing in mind, this has a base cost of 4, so you cannot even play this card until round 3. And Spider, a bit cheaper, it appears to summon other cards. Now, my ideal setup doesn't actually include either of these, but that's late game, so let's go with Finis' Guardian. We seem to have an affinity with fake South Wales, so sure. Now, mini-boss. We could have both of these and see the synergy they have. There is also Monsieur Scarlet, I had such fun voicing him, and Acolyte Arya. Now, I suppose this has good synergy with Phineas's Bud because she has the ability to summon Phineas's Buds, but coin tosses are a thing that can happen, and I am going into much too much detail here. I'll include it for the sake of synergy, and even though it looks like you can select a repeat, you can't select repeats, so because Mothiva and Zasp have good synergy with each other, I'll just grab Monsieur Scarlet instead, just for the sake of variety. Now then, based on what we have here, I personally definitely always include at least one Wasp Trooper. I'm gonna say 2, but I might be slightly jaded because I practiced on later game things. Obviously, we're going to want, I would say, at least 3 Phineas's Buds to synergize with the Guardian. And then, well, it's good to just have basic attackers, so they, it seems pretty straightforward. I tend not to go for effects personally, ooh, I think it might be useful to have an underwear amongst. So, I'll save it for now. This is nowhere near the sort of deck I usually play, he says as if he even remotely remembers the deck he usually plays. So this has probably got a lot of holes in it, but for demonstration's sake, this is something that will be important in due course. But yes, during a match, your cards will be shown on the left side, your opponents are on the right. So you can tell by the back of the card that our opponent, in this case, has 1 mini-boss card and 2 attack cards in their hand at this present moment. And any cards you don't use, you keep in your hand for subsequent rounds. Repeat ad infinitum. So, yeah, you can tell the type of the card, but you can't tell what the card is. So, oh yeah, also it doesn't distinguish attacker or effect, so there is also that. And that's basically how it works. So, if you have defense, that for every point of defense you have, that subtracts 1 attack from your opponent, and ultimately, when all the calculations have been done, whoever has the highest attack number, once all the cards have been put into effect, wins that round. The loser loses 1 HP, first person to lose 5 HP loses the game. So there you go. This took a bit longer to explain than it ought to, but this will be important in the not very distant future. So, well, N for Orgelet, N for May, we've had, it's round 1, so we have 1 free TP and then an extra 1 TP for it being round 1, so we'll lead with the Chomper, because there you go, they played 2 Seedlings, which is 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 and 2 are the same number, so they cancel each other out, and no one loses HP. And there's that. This I wasn't sure about, so I wasn't going to comment on it until it was clarified, but yeah. You may get your cards back if the game goes on for long enough, and that is entirely possible. You can numb me if you like, but you're not doing any damage with your effect cards, and that's why I don't use effect cards! Also, the lights in the background kind of look like sugar cubes, which I'm okay with. I'm gonna hold on to Monsieur Scarlet because we could just afford to just straight up do... Yeah, I was thinking about strategies there, but no, this is good, this is fine. And that's what it looks like when, well, what it looks like when you lose a round, and also what the coin toss looks like. If it ends up happy, then you win the coin toss. If it ends up sad, you lose the coin toss. Pretty straightforward. Now, let's see you beat an attack of 5. Meets it, does not beat it in spy cards. So there you go. That pretty much covers it. So, oh, that's agonizing. If I were to play this hand 1 turn later, I could include the midge in that hand and then be able to heal from it, but for the moment, how's about we just cover our own AS? You see, I told you, this deck of cards that I've built isn't fantastically balanced. So, we'll just have to live with that, so, that's okay. We've got 2 Phineas's Buds on hand. It's only a matter of time until... Wait, are they... Oh. Oh my, we are profoundly boned. That's okay, though. Once Phineas's Guardian turns up, we can have a fantastic time, because look at all these buds we've got just waiting to pop off. That said, I should probably use at least 1, just to... Really? Really, you're gonna do this to me? Making me feel like a fool? It's the Let's Play curse, I swear. Ooh. But where's Venus's Guardian? We need to have... You're killing me here, game. There you go, it flips multiple coins. Everything can be happy or sad depending on the circumstances. Given these circumstances, everything is sad. And yeah, I'd like to build up to an attack of 7, but you're not giving me the means of doing so. You're preventing me from seizing the means of production. Clearly this game is not a communism. Exactly one communism, mind you. Where is my boss card? Did I do something wrong? And as you might expect, though, as the game goes on, both sides are able to play more cards and more expensive cards simultaneously, so the strats get strattier, the hards get hardier, everything is sad and terrible, things get intense. I'm really not sure what else to say. I didn't think this would last for quite this long, but hey, we got to heal off that hand, so that's a demonstration of how healing works. Oh, cool, you've got your boss card. Mine still hasn't come up. You've had your boss card twice. I haven't even had mine come up once yet. So, bearing in mind the circumstances, I think I'm doing fairly well. Spy cards is usually over within, like, 5, 6, maybe 7 rounds at most. The game just hates me today. It is ultimately a game of chance. So, there you go. I'm surprised that I've been able to turn it around as much as I have. Where is the boss card? Why is the rum gone? We're just not allowed to have a fantastic time. And there you go. We would have tied on that round, but then defense happened, and it makes perfect sense. This should not have gone on for this long. So at this point, I might as well just play everything I have. Which reminds me of that Jazzercise video where it's teaching Japanese pedestrians how to give in when they're being mugged. Just while doing arm Jazzercise. Take anything you want. Well, too bad. I won. It was painful. It was terrible. So let's try that for real. And, hopefully, it won't go terribly. I did promise progress in this episode. That might end up not happening. I can only apologize. Maybe the RNG will be kinder. Yeah, maybe Venus's Guardian will actually turn up this time. Come through, why don't you? Let's see, round 1. We only have 2 TP, so... I don't believe you can lifesteal beyond the maximum, so there's no point in me using that, so... Haha! An early victory, but the early victories are fleeting, so take them while you can, but not at the expense of screwing yourself out of something good later. Well, she only has an attack of 1. Yeah, you know what, you'll come back around later. Haha! Well, it might seem strange to play a card that is purely defense, but it isn't without sense, because it could be that your opponent plays a card that, for example, you could gain 2 defense and no attack, and your opponent plays a 1 attack or a 2 attack, and then it nullifies it and you don't take any damage. So I'm setting up for something here, as I'm sure you can infer. So we just need to survive the awful. But hey, my boss card actually turned up this time, rather than you getting it twice and me getting it no times. I have a polite amount of salt. Now, we could play this combo right away and take advantage of the benefits. I'm gonna hold back for 1 round, just to see where this goes. Haha, I still lost. That's okay, we have plans. We can summon Plam. We can initiate Final Plam, which is just layers upon layers of internal references. So yes, win a round, steal health, win a major prize. Hey, Macarena. Might as well use both. Huzzah! 3 coins, 2 of them fell in my favor. You get nothing, you lose. Now, you said you were holding back before. This is you fighting for real. And I am stomping you to the curb. So, what is the truth? I'm going to use these 2, and then these 2 on my next turn. 4 and 2, 1, 3 and 3, just barely eking ahead. E-K-E. Do you use the second E in eking? I feel like you don't. Well, whatever. Might as well play all of them, because Aria might summon more Venus Buds, which... Okay, there's 1. That still counts, it boosts our attack. So, there we go. Teeth may have been pulled, but that's spy cards. Now, I'm setting this up because it will return in the near future in a big way. Oh, I've lost? So it seems. Good game. I like that Leaf is the card player of the team. So any card-related antics will go through Leaf. And he is so gentlemanly about it, we love to see it. Samo mi se spava. That I did. An excellent duel, Leaf. We get anything for winning? Don't bring your greed into our battleground, V. This was nothing more than a duel to clash our wits. To think I'd be bested. If you really want a prize, there's a big competition on Metal Island. Rich bugs board the boat on the pier there and watch us play for sport. The entry is pricey, but nothing compared to the prize.
Wait, you can make money playing card games?
It sounds fun. Can we enter then? Take this, then. The blank card. And hey, it's Carmina. It's like one letter off carmine, which is the pigment that you get from crushing cochineals to death for the sake of creating a pigment. I think that's how they make carmine anyway. So we've got the blank card. If you wish to enter, you'll need to fill up that blank card. Search for the 4 card masters across Bulgaria. That's all I can say.
Could we have a tip at least? Bulgaria is quite vast.
Sure, why not? The first card master is old. Good luck. And so begins that little side quest, and we could actually make a start on it right now.
Yeah, let's go look for them. You gotta win that prize.
You can keep the prize.
Forget the
we
mission.
play for glory. So, we could go and find and fight that first cardmaster right now. But I promised I'd make progress in this episode, and this took longer than I had hoped it would. So, anyway, it does behove us to make prot progress anyway, because obviously, the further we go in the story, the more opportunities we have to get more spy cards. Oh, I was slightly mistaken. This medal here, this is the one that you get for free for beating Monsieur Scarlet on hard mode. It appears in regular shops, not the Crystal Berry shop. I figured out in editing that, hey, actually the maths wouldn't maths if it ended up in the Crystal Berry shop. So yeah, that's the medal that you get if you do hard mode shenanigans. Anyway, we need to go this way. Another danger spud. I say another because I got one a few episodes ago when I went to the pier on my own time. Now, something else that is worth noting. It costs 300 berries to go to Metal Island. So that's kind of a necessary, again with the toxic Tatos. It might seem like a very steep cost for entering the card tournament. All I'll say is, we're going to look for the card masters first. That will have a profound difference on the future. Anyway, story progress. We can finally bring this bridge down and head up north. Well, thanks. I can never remember the voices I give you guys. We were stuck here for a while. You could have just spun the damn thing by hand, you fools.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
We'll get going now. See you in Defiant Road. Be careful now. So yes, as promised, we now have the way open to a whole new area. Also, Phoenix's bud is here.
Hey, it's you two, 3 again.
Finis?
Hee! Yes, that's me. I decided to help you in your quest.
Really? You're gonna beat up stuff with us?
I'm not a combat goddess, but I can heal you up in no time. You know, for a small offering of 8 berries.
What? Why would a goddess need money?
Listen, Arya and my followers want to thrive in life too, and they are way too dedicated to me to get other jobs. So it's the least I can do for them. Besides, 8 berries is nothing for adventurers like you. Sounds like a fair deal, team. It helps us and Phoenix's followers. Just shove the berries in this bud's mouth when you want some healing, alright?
So these are kind of like permanent pistols, but they don't save, or they're like the heal blocks in Paper Mario 2 in that they cost money. Anyway,
the Lost Sands.
It's been a while.
They're way too huge. It's gonna take ages.
It would be nice if we could move just a bit faster.
Well, why not just run? If we tap blah twice with me at the front, I'll give it my all. Whatever gets us out of there faster.
We'll try to keep up, Kabbu.
Yep, we now have a new ability. We can dash. I knew this was coming. I didn't know when it was coming. I forgot it was quite this soon. It also translates into battle. So first of all, let's check in with everything that's happening here.
Explorers. The Queen has allowed you to go through. Go on in.
So yes, I would assume, I've not actually bothered to check this, but if you were to spin the crank and then cross the bridge and come over here before turning in the toenail at the end of Chapter 2... Oh yeah, also that. Stay away from the Wasp Kingdom. I'd imagine that this gate would be closed and he'd be like, no, the Queen hasn't said you can, but the Queen has said we can, so everything's Gucci. The gate opened. But I can't go to the desert yet. I'm still preparing for my journey. If you plan on crossing the desert, keep in mind it is much bigger than it seems. Everywhere you look, there is sand. Keep a mental map when you plan on crossing.
We'll see about that.
And so we arrive in the Lost Sands. There's a lot of yellow, a lot of directions you can go, a lot of strange and colourful artifacts, and new enemies that we can spy, and also really dry, sandy, coconut-looking... Well, I say coconut. They remind me of coconuts. I don't know what coconut leaves actually look like. Anyway, add to the collection. Spy on the cycle. Beep, beep, boodles. You know, boodles.
So this is a Psychorb. I think that poison can make some nice items. Let's not beat it up too bad or no one will buy it. Leaf, get it out if it goes under.
Yep, these are enemies that can bury themselves. And you know what? I'm usually terrible about this, so how about I can't because I'm too poor. I was going to demonstrate Kabbu's new skill. It can, it goes through all ground enemies and not just the front one, and it can also flip ones that need to be flipped, but I probably should have not been quite so cheap in the face of Phoenix. So, yeah, we'll see it at some point. But yes, these enemies can bury, and as you may or may not recall, the cure for a buried enemy is to use Leaf, because Leaf attacks from underneath, it can force them back up from underground. Now, I was a little bit late there because I was hoping to demonstrate something, and I failed! So, this is something that I wasn't sure about, but now I am, because I know things. We received a medal a couple of episodes ago that boosts defense when super blocking. I wasn't sure offhand if that was just the game's terminology. Again, I was just a little bit too late. I didn't know if that was the game's terminology for just blocking, or if it's a different thing. It is a different thing. If you block an attack, then, it reduces the damage you take by 1. I'm going to go and heal, by the way. But if you're in a very specific window of frames when blocking, you actually block 2 damage rather than just 1. And also you can talk to Phoenix, I should have mentioned that sooner. But anyway, healing. I don't believe poison carries over between battles, so there is that, but anyway. Also, Kabbu's charge. I forget if I demonstrated that already, but he can do a little racy run. Oh, you're back. I figured it's a different loading zone, but still. Oh, right, I was going to cut this out, but then I realized, hey, I can actually demonstrate the dash through now. So, just button mash, button mash, button mash, and noom! It can flip enemies that can be flipped. These enemies are not of that sort. Or maybe they are and it's a different... I don't know, I'm trying to know everything at once, and I'm not necessarily good at it, but hopefully I can demonstrate a super block at some point. I know I've done it accidentally before. There we go. If it says awesome instead of block, that's a super block, and it negates 1 extra damage, plus extra damage if you have one of those badges that, benefits you super blocking. Just, little strats that I wasn't completely certain about before, and now I'm... Oh, really? Off by 1! Well, let's have a look around anyway. This area, I believe, will gatekeep you fairly quickly if there's a direction you can't go. I forget what the holes do, and I think they're bad. They're bad! I didn't remember. Oh, yeah. Sometimes enemies can appear from, well, not out of nowhere. They can disguise themselves as other things. Well, first of all, I want to get rid of you, you angry little radish, because you're in the way. You're in my way.
You may not have arms, but I can still eat you. Yeah. Tess is capable of making Undertale references. What are you gonna do about it? And you know what, Kabbu, since you're flagging, I'll have you do the spying on this new friend, Cactiling, or Cactiling if you prefer. Probably Cactilings. It's a seedling, but a cactus.
Incredible! I truly believe this to be a cactus. What an impressive disguise!
Yeah, even though as an enemy it's a sprite, on the overworld it can disguise itself as a 3D model if memory serves, to truly, you know, commit to the illusion.
Still, if it stands in our way, I shall flip it over. Let's go, team.
So, yep, they have defense. They're the acornlings of this area, don't worry about it. And you're underground again. Yeah, I was definitely too early on that, but... And on that one. I have to relearn all of the timings. Everything is sad forever. Anyway, get bonked. We're gonna level up after this battle anyway, so it's not like it matters. And... Now, you would think, oh hey, they're spiky, they have thorns, you can't touch them physically. Don't worry, you can. Don't worry, Spider didn't. Also, them being... Yeah, you need to block multiple times to block that one, by the way. I was just testing that to be certain. Being plant-based, and desert plant-based no less, they are weak to Leaf's ice attacks, and obviously they're also weak to having Kabbu remove their defense. This has been such a rambly episode, goddamn, but I promised you progress, and progress has been had. Now, what should we go for this time? Honestly, I'm not feeling any of them, so... I'll go with medal points for now. Oh! Your inventory can increase! I forgot about that! This is the advantage of playing a game not blind, but it being a long time between playing it for real and then playing it for Let's Play, and then taking like a year's break within that. Anyway, I think we're now... Yeah, we're at the point where I can start cutting battles out, so see you forthwith shortly, Town Time Pants. Soon. I need to get it through my head that when the Psycorp do their physical attack... Wow, I really just silenced the P in Psycorp, didn't I? When they do their attack, it happens sooner than... Because I'm expecting it to be like, build up, build up, build up, stab, and it's not. There's one beat fewer than I feel like there ought to be. So, let's see if we can make use of our fresh friends and... Basically what I'm getting at is we have abilities to resist poison, so maybe we should do something about that. And they always seem to go after V, so I guess I'll put that on V, and then, because I always have Kabbu in the lead, have that on Kabbu, and then everything can be happy and Spifles. I'm tempted to use this as well, because I'm not entirely sure how the anger status works, so that's something that I'm keeping in a mental back pocket. Also, we're back in the first room, by the way, just trying to map things out in my head. Ooh, what a room indeed. Aha, you see? Pretending to be a 3D object when you're not. Good news, everyone. I'm steadily getting a little bit less terrible at timings and defending against stuff here in the desert. Ooh, a locked room. Well, I'll just shove a plushie into the hole. No. Now, what could we do about this? I think we could use the beamerang to grab it. And if not, I don't remember the puzzle. So let's just have 2D friends platforming on 3D objects. There we go. We could just straight up give someone more HP if we feel they need it. So I guess we'll just... Oh, I'll just take that off Kabbu and put it on... Put that on Kabbu, because he's died too many times in recent episodes for me to be happy. Because he's best boy. I didn't trust you for a second. That battle rather reminded me how I always seem to underestimate how much damage V is capable of doing when not in the lead. Like, she does a base damage of 2. Like, I feel like she should only do 1 with the beamerang, but no, she does 2. She's reliable. You know what that battle consisted of? 1 cactiling and nothing else. Worthwhile. Oh, and you're back. Oh, yeah. I remember the puzzle now. Also, you're here, and I also don't remember the voice I gave you, so I guess you're just the chosen now. My research points to a relic being in the area, but I've hit a dead end. Could there be a path I haven't noticed yet? I can't quite do the Chosen voice. That's as good as we're gonna get on Zero Practice. We're supposed to freeze you. I said freeze you, thank you. So just sort of boop you a bit closer, and then more 3D platforming with 2D friends. Can you please get into a position? No. Be freezy. 3D ergodic thermodynamics. There we go. Could I perhaps charge into it? Surprisingly, yes. There we go. We've solved the mystery. Nothing will ever happen again. Nothing will ever happen. Ever. Nothing. I guarantee it. And now we can get up here, and I don't remember why we needed to, but hey. Hey, it's kids. We get the Tardigrade Shield Medal. Yeah. You can... I believe this is a TP costing skill. You can become immunity for a turn. Anyway. This is it. The lost tardigrade. Legends say these bugs can live for countless generations. Not that I've ever seen one.
Weird place to put a statue, right?
Maybe this place looked much different, and only the relic withstood the test of time.
Hey, at least we found something we can use here.
Medal, huh? So, this was a medal covered in dust. Fascinating. I'll have to write up a hefty report. Should we, hand it over?
No way!
Would you mind testing its properties on the field? I don't really mind if you keep it in this sandy hellscape. I've got the data I wanted already.
Cool. Thanks, Hawk.
Once I'm done with my research in the desert, I shall head back to the hive. May we meet again.
Maybe I'll get better with practice. I probably won't. So, if this is the room I think it is... No, it's not. There's one more room still to go, but that's okay. Can we go down here? We can't go down here. You definitely don't exist. Okay, I was too late on the flippies this time. Hey, we're moving up in the world. There were 2 Cacti Leg in that battle, and also we've got 40 EXP now, so we're well on our way to yet another level. So all is cool and good. Now, I think this is the room I think it is. It looks rather suspect, don't it? You know, just casually suspect.
Oh, that artifact over there looks like Cut's tools.
It seems the ancients also sliced things.
You reckon they had boomerangs too?
Maybe. Or something cooler.
There's no cooler weapon.
Ah, yes. I thought they were talking about the can of ARP! Exclamation mark. But no, they're talking about that up there. Well, anyway, flip and ding. I hope it will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and in the next episode, we'll plow on through the desert and see where it gets us. See you next time for things. Flip.